All right, so with only the Monday night games yet to go in week 4, there are only 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL, and they really are the best 2 teams in the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. But yet, all you hear from Bills fans, all you hear from Eagles fans is all of this worry and all of this concern about how they're winning, how they're getting it done. It almost doesn't matter that these 2 teams are 4-0 in people's minds, but the reality is it's difficult to win in the NFL, and both the Bills and the Eagles have a winning formula. In Buffalo, it's running the football. It almost doesn't matter that the Bills give up a ton of yards on the ground. When you have James Cook and he trails Jonathan Taylor in rushing yards by just 14 yards, when he's rushed for 401 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns through the first 4 weeks, that is how you control the tempo of games. That is how you grind down your opponent. That is how you salt out victories in the fourth quarter. And, you look at the wins that the Bills already have on their ledger. They torpedoed the Baltimore Ravens season before it even had the chance to get going. And certainly before the injuries started to pile up for Baltimore, the Ravens were viewed as a Super Bowl favorite, one of the most complete rosters in the NFL back in week 1 in that thrilling victory that the Bills pulled off with all those heroics from Josh Allen inside of the final 4 minutes. And if you look at Buffalo and where they are right now, they have to be considered the odds-on favorite to host the AFC Championship game because of the type of wins they're putting together and because they have a cake schedule. So you look at the Bills, I'm not really concerned about Buffalo. I think they have the chance to be the team to beat. We're going to learn a lot about them when they play Kansas City a little bit later in the year. But in the NFC, it's the Eagles and the Lions. They're the best 2 teams. They're playing the most dominant brands of football, but only the Eagles are undefeated. And people are talking about, oh, is this sustainable? Can they win with Jalen Hurts not having a passing yard in the second half? Again, that doesn't matter. Think about who the Eagles have beaten so far. They've beaten the Dallas Cowboys, who had every reason to come in and knock them off in the opener on national TV, make a statement that they weren't going to miss Micah Parsons, and the Eagles held them off. Then you look at what they did. You go into Kansas City. You take care of the Chiefs in Arrowhead in a game that Kansas City felt like they needed to have, and the Eagles defense shut them down late. You had the timely interception off of Patrick Mahomes, turn the tide of the game. You have a physical and explosive and veteran Los Angeles Rams team that comes into Philadelphia looking to avenge a postseason loss. The Eagles take care of business there, and then they go down to Tampa Bay and they vanquish some demons that go back a generation against the Buccaneers. And yes, the offense kind of went stagnant late, but when you look at how the Eagles are winning, they're writing the blueprint. They are authoring the manual on playing complementary football, winning with defense, special teams, and offense. But here's what nobody's talking about. Everybody's wondering about what's wrong with Saquon Barkley. Everybody's concerned about whether A.J. Brown is getting enough targets, getting enough catches, if he's involved enough. The Eagles' defense is one of the stingiest red zone defenses in the NFL. Vic Fangio is slamming the door shut inside the red zone. Eagles opponents are scoring touchdowns on just 36% of trips inside the red zone. That's 3rd best in the league. 1 in 3 chances for opponents' offenses scoring touchdowns inside the 20. Over the past 3 games, just 25%. 1 in 4 chances. That's against Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. That's against Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and the Los Angeles Rams. Those stops in the first half, field goals instead of touchdowns, set the stage for the win. And you look at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, 25% in the red zone. That's how you win. Defense wins championships. Running the ball wins championships. Figuring out how to win wins championships and stacks victories towards home field advantage on the road to the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear about the worries. The Eagles and the Bills are the best 2 teams in football. They're the last 2 undefeateds. They're going to be fine.